Emergencies are bound to happen, but as people with disabilities, the chances are even greater. Let's get prepared. The first thing that is critically important is having a good first aid kit. Not a dollar store first aid kit, but a good first aid kit. What you're looking for is burn-like items, things that will alleviate burns, things that has large gauze, large bandages, things with large tubes of ointment. Those are all things you're kind of looking for in this style of kit. This is kind of the average kit size that will have this type of ointment in it. You're also looking for a kit that has an ice pack in it. Yes, an ice pack. This ice pack is not cold at first, but it literally has an ice pack in it. You literally shake it up. It has all the beads in it. You crack something in it and it turns cold. The reason it's done this way is because no matter what type of emergency you're in, this ice pack will help for burns or in a situation where you may not be in your house, or if you're in the house but your ice pack for some reason isn't in your freezer, you've got an ice pack on the fly. This is the type of kit you're looking for, and this is what is in this first aid kit. We keep it in our spare bathroom, which is where I'm in right now. This is why we chose this specific first aid kit. This first aid kit doesn't have absolutely everything. It's not something that the paramedics are going to be bringing in. They've got absolutely everything under the sun. This is not it. I'm not going to have everything under the sun. This is just purely to administer that first step of first aid if I can, help alleviate that first level of pain while we wait for the paramedics to arrive. And that's really that level of preparedness that I want you guys to think about. Next up, we have aspirin. And this is honestly, if there's nothing else you take from this video, it's this bad boy. You should have aspirin on you in your purse, at your house, in your car. This is seriously a lifesaver. I recently had to take it myself. I actually now have to take it on a daily basis, not because of heart attack reasons, but for other reasons. And this is something that the paramedics told me some people should have this on hand. You take 2 of them. If you think you're having a heart attack, you chew them and you make a paste and you swallow them. If you think you're having a heart attack, that is the emergency procedure for taking them, and it can literally save a life. So if you think someone's having a heart attack, that is the procedure for taking aspirin. This is just a Kirkland Costco version. It's just a cheaper version of aspirin instead of taking the name brand version. You'll see a lot of no name version medicines because I am a cheap person. I just buy no name. It's the same thing, guys. Honestly, I don't see much difference between no name brand and name version medication. And so you'll see a lot of no name brand versions today. So by all means, this is me telling you guys buy no name if you wish. And so if there's nothing else you take from today, go buy yourself a bottle of no name aspirin and keep it in your cubbies, in your medicine cabinets, in your car. Lifesaver. Next up, we've got the reactants and we've got the Benadryl. Yes, these are Costco sized. There's a lot of them. One of the things I do want to mention before we go any further, if you think this is a lot, if you're on a budget, if you want to be supportive to your friends who have chronic illnesses or who have disabilities and you want to be prepared at home, if you know someone who has allergies and you want to be prepared to make sure that, if they were to react at your house or something of that nature, once a month, buy something like this, or wait till there's a sale, buy Benadryl, or ask your friend what their favorite med is. And so buy that one or buy a no name version of that one and keep it in your cabinet or your medicine cabinet. I think they'd really appreciate that. Buy it on sale, buy a smaller bottle of it. Obviously, they don't need a large version of it. Some of these things I use myself, or we have a lot of friends who use it when they're here, or I just buy it from Costco, so we have a lot of it. So you'll see different sizes of things in that nature, or we bought it at Costco on sale, which is what happened with this Benadryl. but don't feel the need to buy large quantities of it. When you go to Shoppers Drug Mart or things like that, you can buy very small amounts of like 5 pills. That's all you need. Put it in a cute little basket, put it in your spare bathroom, or put it nearby in your kitchen or in your entrance, and show your friends that it's there and it's available, and that they don't need to ask you where it is. They know where it is, and they know that if they need absolutely anything, they know where it's available. I think it's truly important to tell and show your friends that you're there to support them, and you've gone that extra step. And it's not to make them feel like anything other than to show them that they need anything at all, that it's there for them, but that they don't feel obligated. It doesn't need to be challenging or difficult. It's there. And if they need anything else, that they can let you know. It doesn't need to be complex or complicated. It's just available. And I think that's just an amazing thing. So far we talked about the allergy medication, which can truly save lives, especially if people have an allergic reaction or have something happen to them, bees, all that fun jazz. We've talked about, God forbid, people having a heart attack, emergency care, things like that. This next big category is really keeping people comfortable. It's one of those things that I think people undervalue, but I think is really important. If you guys have any other suggestion of things that I should add to my list that I may not have thought of, or if you guys have any comments or any questions at all, please let me know in the comments down below. But let's get to this next category. This next category is to have essentially every pain medication you could think of. Now, I've got large bottles just because I honestly use a lot of these myself. If there was one of these that you don't particularly use or like yourself, it's one of those things that liquid gels, that's something I don't use, but my husband does, because I can't do liquid gels personally. I love my Aleve. It's one of the only actual medications that I buy the actual name brand version. For some reason, I just personally like Aleve better. This is actually Tylenol, if you're wondering. Tums, people have acid reflux. It's one of those things. This is actually Advil non-liquid version. So this is ibuprofen. One thing I will say is if you're buying medications or people, if you're buying pain meds to keep kind of, in a little bucket for friends and family when they come over, in case they're over and they're like, I've got a bit of a headache and do you have anything? That kind of thing. I would recommend that you don't buy anything extra strength. Anything that's dosed a little bit high. I would buy the lowest dosage you can get your hands on. Us chronic illness people, we have a tendency of dosing up and dosing a little differently than maybe the average person. And so I always err on the side of caution and buy the smallest dose possible. I also sometimes have, the kids version as well. I don't have a lot of children in my life that come over anymore, but sometimes I do have the kids version as well, just so that people don't feel uncomfortable. Some people can't handle 200 milligrams. That's just too much for me. I really need 100 mils. And then I'm like, oh my God, like I only have 400 milligrams at home because that's all I have. So I try and make sure that I've got many dosage levels as I possibly can of the pain meds versions. The more emergency allergies and stuff like that, they're pretty standard dosage. So it's a little easier to have a little fewer options because there's not as many options available out there. But when it comes to pain meds, I try as much as possible to just have the lowest dosage. I would rather have a bunch of 100 milligrams and have my chronic illness fam have 4 of them and have more of them if they need to. And so that's just one of the conscientious thoughts that I have. Make sure your basket is as accessible as possible and as open to as many people that will be coming into your home. I hope that this has helped someone out there that may have been thinking of putting together a basket for their home or their spare bath or their living room or whichever place you're going to be putting this basket. If you have any questions at all or any add-ons that you'd like to let me know, please leave them in the comments down below. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this lovely basket. This is something I've had in my home for quite a few years and I really want to know your thoughts. So leave them down below. We'll see you guys next week and don't forget to slow your roll. If you've liked this video, check this one over here.